Hello, everybody. It's time for another Chuck Chat. Um, February 24th, after Snowvid, the winter storm. Always start off with a little humor, so here we go. Hey, all you geniuses who sang Let It Snow back in December, happy now? If snow is made from water and water has no calories, how come snowmen are fat? Sick of winter, smack a snowman, $2. We never made this much selling lemonade. Are you watching a horror movie? No, just the weather. Okay, winter, you've made your point. I'm a wussy. The trouble with going out in the cold at my age is by the time I get all bundled up, I've forgotten where I was going. That happens to me on occasion. COVID-19 numbers since the beginning, they haven't changed since our last report. Still 29 cases of residents total. We've had 4 deaths, 25 have recovered, and we have no active cases at this time. Among our associates, we've had 42 cases, all have recovered, no active cases at this time. All told, we have tested 7,802 times. Since this all started. Our infection rate is 1.27%, which is still a really good number. Daily tracker results, you can see that our numbers trended down after Valentine's Day, probably due to nobody going out. Everybody was stuck at home and very little testing took place. Our numbers in Texas still are growing. Up around 2.5 million at this point. This little chart here shows us compared to New York and West Virginia. New York has almost 1 million less cases, or more than 1 million less cases than we do at this point. We are in phase 2. So that means that we can have staff and resident-led activities in any location increased to 20 or less. And of course, social distancing and masks are required. We can have limited indoor activities for up to 30 with audience participants being counted in that 30 in Harrisville Hall or the Solarium with sign-up sheets, social distancing and masks. Up to 50 for outdoor activities with social distancing and masks. The Laurel Dining Room is still reduced to 25% capacity, but is open for all meals. That's about 35 people. This number will be increased to 50% on March the 15th. So beginning March the 15th, our dining room will be able to have 50% capacity. Visitation has been increased as available, up to 2 visitors per visit, 1 hour designated locations only, and by appointment only, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. still. Limited service providers are allowed for independent living residents with appointments set through the resident services office. We ask that you do this no more than twice per month. Grab and go continental breakfast is available, as well as the breakfast menu in the Laurel Dining Room, and room delivery is still available for lunch and dinner. Health center visitation guidelines remain with essential caregivers only for a little while yet. Hopefully, we haven't had any new cases in the last 7 days. Hopefully that trend continues and we can open up healthcare a little bit. COVID-19 vaccine in Westminster, 99% of residents have been vaccinated. About 76% of associates have been vaccinated at this point. The next vaccine clinic is scheduled for February the 25th. This is mostly for second doses. Our last clinic scheduled with CVS is March the 1st. This will be our last clinic scheduled with CVS. We have ordered coolers and they should arrive in a couple weeks. Once these arrive, we will have the capability to store all of the different types of vaccines, including the Pfizer vaccine, and maintain it at its proper temperature. Once those have arrived, we will apply with the state for approval as a vaccine provider. And this will allow us to vaccinate staff and residents going forward when we need to. Just wanted to talk about how to wear your mask safely. Again, do try to wear your mask covering your nose and mouth like London is in this picture. Please don't wear it like this. I see a lot of people doing that. Or like this. It's not a chin protector, it's a mask. Questions and answers. What freedoms can we expect to have at Westminster after we receive the second vaccine? The vaccine will be most effective approximately 14 days after the second dose is received. So most of us are in that situation now. We hopefully will be able to increase sizes of internal activities and events over time within Westminster, though there may be limits on outside presenters and activities for some time. We'll also be able to increase capacity on the dining room, which you can see as I've talked about previously. We will continue to slowly and methodically reopen over time. I think this is the safest way. Another question, when will we receive tax deductibility letters? You should have already received those. All residents should have received a copy in their internal boxes, the cubbies. If you need a copy, there are additional copies available at the reception desk. Any need you can address with us reception desk. Can we get an update on the pool, please? The pool should be open within the next couple of weeks. The vent covers have been received in Austin. It's just being scheduled time, and then we need to do a little bit of work on the liner. That's supposed to be completed during the next couple of weeks. Another question, if my son and wife have both COVID vaccinations, wait 2 weeks after the second, has proof of vaccination, can they come to visit us without time restrictions? If not, what are the rules for those already vaccinated? For now, the visitor restrictions remain in place for everyone, regardless of vaccination status. We will relax the visitor restrictions as soon as we are able. We will send out communication as we reduce the restrictions currently in place. You can certainly, go out and visit those folks, but for now, we want to keep our visitor restrictions in place. And yes, we will open those up over time. I can't tell you exactly when that date will be, but I expect that, later in March, early April, we'll be able to allow for visitation on other hours than the 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and also allow visitors into your apartments eventually. So keep reading the communication pieces, and we'll communicate that as soon as we can allow for that. Okay. Another question, why can't something be done about these natty things that are flying around everywhere? I wasn't aware that there are natty things flying around everywhere, but anytime there is a pest problem, you need to just report it to reception and they will create a work order. And then we'll have our pest control company come in and treat. A work order has been placed for this, identifying the areas that we've had reports or a report from. I'm not aware that this is a widespread problem, but we are on it and we will address as needed. Another question, why doesn't the weekly calendar handout include the name of the management team member who will be the contact person responsible for any significant decisions on that specific weekend? And they added, especially due to the storm. We were doing a weekend rotation with department heads when the pandemic started to support staff as they became accustomed to the new dynamic of the pandemic. Since then, we've arranged each of the assistant directors of nursing, Jackie and Antoinette, to cover weekends. So those folks are on site all the time. Jackie works Saturday and Antoinette works Sunday. Prior to the pandemic, we had a weekend supervisor on duty who was an RN and specifically trained for weekend supervisor, so knew all the systems and things like that. We've had to make some adjustments due to COVID and maintaining a COVID isolation unit. We hope to get that position back as we go down the road. But during the winter storm, all leadership, including myself, were in constant communication with the team on site. As always, if you have a need, please reach out to reception and they will pass it on to the correct person, get that person to call you back and address any issues or problems or concerns that you might have. And that's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're all on call. Question, should residents be allowed to meet outside and walk the neighborhood? We are discouraging this practice because we don't know who's vaccinated and who's not, and it puts our residents at risk anytime they do this. However, if you do meet others and walk around the neighborhood, please maintain a social distance of at least 6 feet and wear your mask safely at all times, covering your mouth and nose. Please do not bring non-Westminster walkers onto the Westminster campus. Our outside spaces should be reserved for the safe use of our residents. Question, how can residents acknowledge associates for going above and beyond? What are the star cards for? Star cards, absolutely. That's how you should recognize our associates, and it can be used for any associate, including those in management and supervisor positions. Star cards can be turned into any reception desk or to any member of management. Star cards are received by the HR department and tracked. Stars of the month, year are given prizes and gifts throughout the year. Star cards are a great way to show your appreciation, write a kind note. If somebody impacted you in a positive way during the storm, write them a star card. And even if you send a note or an email to any of our leadership team, we pass those along as if they were star cards. So please do that and make sure that, our associates know that you appreciate them, and we will absolutely pass that information on. When do I get my vaccine card? Excuse me, or what proof of vaccinations will residents receive? We're currently scanning the vaccine card that you can see here into our electronic medical record and to your file. We will distribute the card to you as soon as this process has been completed. I checked with Health Services yesterday, Resident Health Services, Robin's office, and that process was almost completed yesterday. So it should be this week that you receive those, and you'll also receive a pin, a Westminster pin that you received your vaccine as well. I've had the vaccine, now what? Please continue to be cautious when out in public. Please continue to limit your trips as much as possible. Continue to wear your mask when outside of your apartment, home, or when receiving services in your home. Limit exposure to large groups, especially large groups outside of Westminster. Practice good hand hygiene. Please continue to follow Westminster precautions and restrictions, including isolation, quarantine after you've gone on a trip or had an overnight visit. In the 2021 Snowvid, or snowpocalypse as it's been called, these are the temperature lows and highs, and you can see that we got really low for a couple days, especially Monday the 15th and 16th were really low for us. Froze some pipes. We had some issues here at Westminster, though we were very blessed compared to most organizations. In Austin, Texas, we received 6.4 inches of snow that was recorded at Bergstrom Airport and Camp Mabry. At my house, I had about 10 inches of snow and a couple inches of ice. So it was the heaviest snowstorm in 72 years, since January 30th, 1949, if you hadn't heard that. Good news is we did not lose power during or after the storm because we are identified as a critical customer, so we had no rolling brownouts. We did have reduced water pressure from the city. We were forced to reduce our domestic water, so not use our showers, dishwashers, laundry rooms, etc., so that we could maintain at least 10 pounds of pressure for our heat system and our fire sprinkler system. And we also needed to run our commercial laundry on a limited basis, which is necessary to support healthcare. So we did have a small amount of damage for both buildings due to some frozen pipes, The lobby had a huge amount of water pour into it. A couple of the offices, landscape plantings were damaged, of course. And a claim has been submitted with our insurance carrier. We've also set up an account to capture all of the expenses for the repairs and damage. I will say that, landscape was damaged, of course, and we will repair it as soon as we can, but we're pending plant material for those repairs, and there's a real shortage throughout Texas. As you can imagine, most everything froze, so it'll take us a while to get the landscape back to normal. These are some pictures of the damage. You can see the pipe bursting here, and this is the lobby as it was flooded. This is this room here has our servers in it and a lot of electronic equipment that supports the business end of Westminster. And we were really lucky that Danny was able to get some plastic covering this equipment to protect it. And you can see our folks were cleaning it up as soon as it happened. So really proud of the team and all the folks that were on site. Olga and Joe and many others that pitched in and worked extra shifts and stayed over to help out. You can see in this picture, there's burst coils right here that happened due to the freeze. And then this is in one of the offices that was damaged, mostly falling ceiling tile and water in the carpet. So we'll have to replace the carpet in this area. Construction update. You can see here pictures as we're coming up out of the ground, and you can see the post tension cables installed and the rebar. The columns are coming up, they're being poured, and we're moving up the garage onto the second level and preparing to pour that concrete. This is for the Carlisle building. And then this is the Windsor infill tower. So that garage extension from the Windsor garage has been being prepared for a concrete pour in this area. The walls are up, you can see those here. And we're doing a bunch of water mains installation and covering those up over the next few days. This is a look ahead schedule. I'm not going to go into a bunch of detail, but we'll try to include this in the packet that we send out, just summarizing. But you can see just kind of what I was talking about, the exterior basement walls and the pouring of the columns and the different levels of the garage being poured, and then the cafe extension is being worked on pretty heavily. Exterior framing and sheathing will be going on the first week of March. Waterproofing the exterior walls as they're constructed will be the second week of March. The work on the courtyard improvements continues. The outdoor pergolas will be installed on March the 1st on the kitchen. Therapy, ramp, handrails, some of the plantings will be going in the second week of March, hopefully, if we're able to get the plant material. The bridge number 2 work continues. That's the bridge that connects the Preston to the pool area. That work is continuing. They have opened up the walls on both ends of that bridge, and they're working on the tie-ins now. We hope to reopen the drive on Friday the 12th. This is just a summary of what's going on. And again, we hope to open the drive between the Windsor and the Preston around the 12th, hopefully on the 12th. Just an example of the overall site plan again, the bridge I'm talking about is located right here. The infill tower that's being constructed, that first level of parking garage has been almost completed with the concrete pour, hopefully this week. And then the Carlisle building, of course, is up here. And this is what the courtyard will look like. I know some people are really concerned about this wall, but that's actually a water feature, and it should look really nice when it's finished. I wanted to include that. This is a pergola that I spoke about being installed. And then we have another pergola here that runs the length of the restaurant. And this will be a louvered pergola, so it can open and close based on the weather. And we did receive approval from the board to move forward with the Harrisville Hall expansion. So that work has been approved. We're working through the final details of that, but hopefully, basically what it's going to do is enclose the balcony that was outside of Harrisville Hall, make that part of the space, and then hopefully build a deck on top of the new roof that has been constructed for the restaurant, which will create another great outside area for us to use. This is a rendering. We have completed the selection process on all of the apartments, and we're 100% sold. Just an update on our building and grounds projects. The chiller and cooling tower have been replaced. That work was completed. The Preston interior window work, the apartments have been completed. The solar film work is still underway. So we have about 40 apartments and some offices and dining space to complete. The Preston flooring replacement still moves forward. It was delayed a little bit due to the ice last week, but we have the tile here and it will be installed, and that work should be completed mid-March. Fourth floor laundry room, this project has, sorry, that wasn't updated, but it has been almost completed. The appliances are on site and they'll be installed this week. The door arrived and it was incorrect, so we've had to send that back and get it corrected. But we're making progress on that. Should have it open by mid-March as well. Let's see, Preston Courtyard wastewater line was replaced. We will be repairing the courtyard when plant material is available, so that's been delayed due to the ice as well. Boilers have been repaired on the Preston. Boiler serving C-Wing is temporary. It's a temporary boiler in place. If you remember, about a little less than a year ago, we had replaced that boiler with a new boiler, and that boiler failed. And we believe it was improperly installed by the contractor, and we're going after the contractor to get them to pay for that boiler replacement. Hot water upgrades and water softening all campus will be installed soon. The water softening all campus should be completed by mid-March. I was hoping to have that done by the end of February, but unfortunately the ice delayed that. The larger hot water recirculating pump on the Windsor was installed, and there has been improvement. So again, culinary services update. Laurel Dining Room is open to 25% capacity for all meals. Will increase to 50% capacity March the 15th. A grab-and-go continental breakfast is available for pickup in the Laurel Dining Room and the game room in the Windsor from 7 to 9:30. Laurel is open for all 3 meals, including serving a breakfast menu until 1 p.m. each day. The Laurel Dining Room will be open from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. with last seating at 7 p.m. Reservations are required for dinner only after March the 15th. Starting the year right, so we've won a couple awards. I'm not going to go over those, but some pretty good news for us and a good start to 2021. So really proud of the team and the community. COVID-19 reminders: always wear your mask when outside of your home or when receiving services in your home. This is still mandatory. Practice good hand hygiene. Do not touch your face, eyes, or mask. Stay home except for essential trips. Limit travel and extended visits. If you're out of Westminster overnight, quarantine procedure still applies. Test within 5 to 7 days. Quarantine until results are back. Usually takes 2 to 3 days. Maintain social distance of 6 feet or more. Follow all precautions even after you receive the vaccine. All visitors to our campus, families, staff, and private caregivers must sign in and be screened before they enter. Small groups must still wear masks. Thank you all for making Westminster an extraordinary place to live and work. Stay strong. Appreciate you all. Appreciate your patience and all of you and your working with us during the COVID or Snowvid storm. Thank you all for your efforts. Appreciate you very much.